Okay, welcome to the Living Directors Podcast. My name is Derek Allswede, founder of the Allswede Collection Podcast Network. Joining me on the Season 2 finale of Severance is Amy D. This is the complete episode. We're going to throw on YouTube, up on the streamers. Parts 1 and 2 are already available. Hopefully you listened to them already, but if you haven't, the whole thing's right here. What a season. It was really cool to do a complete season on one of the best shows of the past decade ever, of all time. We have a lot coming up on the Living Directors Podcast, so subscribe to the YouTube channel at Living Directors, Instagram as well at Living Directors. Let's get to it. Season finale, Season 2 of Severance. There's been always this expectation by business owners, general managers, whatever, like, I'm paying you $25 an hour. You should want to be here. And that cultural shift has been pretty phenomenal through Gen Z, and it's been really hard, and even millennials. And it's been hard. I've seen it firsthand all over the decades for owners to understand that. How come I can't get people to come do this job they don't want to do for this amount of money? And like, it like blows their mind. And like, I don't know if we can feed that into Severance in some way, or
we probably can. I would say that there's a real understanding that the currency is energy. And I remember like working when I was like in my early 20s and making like, I don't know, $12 an hour, nothing much, because it was a million years ago. And also because it was an underpaid job, and being like, okay, so 60 of my minutes goes into getting 12, like, who gives a shit? But then I've met people my age who are a little bit older, and they're like, I think of it, they have pretty good paying jobs, and they're like, every 5 minutes I'm here, I'm getting, like $100 or something like that. And it's
that's
like,
a very good job.
or I'm getting like $25. So if I can just stick it out for the next like 5, and so it's like, and then I look at it like, you're still looking at it the same way I'm looking at it. You just have a benefit in the money that you're making, but I'm still like, you will never get that time back. But recently had lunch with my friend whose entire like grandma and mom and everyone was there, and like the grandma was just going off about, if your boss says you need to do something, even if it's pick up their dry cleaning, like you need to do it, because, and I'm just like, life has changed. Like people,
the servitude and subservience from decades, it was so high that people like us have always known that it needed to be depleted some, but sorry to cut you.
No, but it was this whole like monologue from her about how kids my age, she calls me a kid, like don't understand that like you have to, like the order of like authority and hierarchy. Right. And I'm like, no, I think we do understand it. We just fucking put our middle fingers up to it. Like, and you can only degrade someone verbally or physically so much nowadays before they will literally tell you to go fuck yourself, like in a stylish way, and then monetize it on social media. And this
is a direct connection to slave owner culture that existed less than, or 170 years
still
ago.
Exists today.
Right. But and we're going to talk about the Civil War because it's very important to the show. It's so recent. 150 years is such a short time ago that of course we're still going to get not just drips of that culture, but highly saturated, but pools of that culture kind of splashed onto us that we're fighting. And now that's exactly what Trumpism is trying to bring back. And it's really conservatism. Let's just call it what it is. It's conservatism. It's Christian conservatism. They want this. I mean, even like talk about, the deportations and detainments are really, or imprisonments are just all like trying to create slaves that'll work for $1 a day in 2025 and into the future. Like these people, these Lumen types, these Keir types, these Egans are like they just want to, these white people that were here and their ancestors most likely owned slaves want to create this slave culture.
I look at it as like, okay, this woman was a Trumper, by the way. She's like in her 80s, 90s. Yeah, I can't fucking see. Relies on everyone for help because she's totally disabled. God, but like,
not her specifically.
No, but I can only talk with her for so long because it's just like I can't handle people who don't get the full picture. But it's trauma-based mind control, right? Like it's that they were traumatized by this terrible system, and they're like, how could it get any better? Why would you want better? And it's like, well, because I do, and because like everyone does,
and we're smarter than you.
Right. Well, sorry that like you worked really hard and like now I've gone to college and now I have a broadened perspective on things, my liberal education. No, but it's really funny too because I'm working on that Bidwell Mansion project and it's like it got me really thinking, when's the first time I've thought about or learned about like Civil War or slavery? And it's like 4th grade. And I'm like, when I was in 4th grade, I was like 9 years old. And when I was 9 years old, like I was born in 81, like the 70s seemed like go. So it felt like and it's like the more, the more I get into it, it's like, okay, well, California, when it became a state or like even before it became a state, when it was still like governed by Mexico, it had already been like ravaged, and by the time the Westerners, quote unquote Westerners, got here, it had been like the Spaniards and then the Mexicans had like basically already turned the natives into refugees. We made things worse by mining for gold and like fucking up the food supply and trapping and all. Like we fucked it up like beyond belief. But my point is like, you think of slavery as being this thing that the Civil War eradicated, which also isn't true. I mean, in a respect it is, but it's like it still continues to this day. It's never been more rampant and it's in its own way. But also it only applied all that stuff to Black slaves and like the Asian slaves and the natives. Like you could literally go and kill 2 native parents and sell the child for like the equivalent of $1,500 up and it was not illegal to do that, or if it was illegal, it was like kind of decriminalized because people just didn't give a shit, right? And so there's all these ways in which even it's good to talk about how slavery ended because it's in that way it did. Like there's not plantations, but in a lot of ways it sort of like obfuscates the grander narrative, which is that like world slavery is like still a major problem. Like, and I say that privilege knowing right where my battery for my phone comes from, right? Like the cobalt mines in Africa. It's just like and I understand that everyone who's listening to this is listening to it on their phone or like a battery, so it's like, it's really complicated, but slavery is not gone. And like you said, with the deportations and such, it's just creating a new class.
Right. And Lumen, and we're gonna, I don't know how much I think you're better at kind of deciphering the codes to this show. I feel like I'm more of I'm the play-by-play guy, and you're the color commentary person. So, we can guess as to what they're doing exactly. We're gonna get to Gemma's consciousnesses, that they're creating. We haven't talked about clones much. I brought it up in other podcasts. The show hasn't at all. But I think there's some of that there, which to me implies a type of slavery as well. They're basically trying to create humans to help the company in some way. I don't know. We'll talk about all that as we go. Unless you have something to say about that now.
Well, I was just going to say, let's touch back on that, but like non-physical clones. Like if I clone my consciousness, right? Like I've cloned myself, but because I don't remember what the other one is doing, but I'm not 2 bodies, but I'm still cloned,
Your consciousness is cloned in a computer somewhere. Basically.
Or no, I'm cloned because I'm severed, right? Like I'm still...
same body, 25 different consciousnesses.
Yeah. And I finally kind of got the symbolism with the waffle when we see the cutout, and it's like the diamond within the diamond.
Where's 25?
Right, but
Huge
it's
to me.
like that's diamond,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm just like,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, I'm like, oh, got it. Like, and then the pineapple as well sort of resembles sort of what that would look like.
Okay.
So, anyways, let's go on. But
We will. Yeah, we'll get there. So much to talk about. We start out. Cold Harbor. Did we mention this was a Civil War battle yet? I don't think we did.
you've posted about it about 500 times, but
Have I?
no, I'm just kidding. But
I made a little video.
No, it was
my
a
little
great
Ken
video,
Burns.
and I think it's good that people saw it. No, but why don't you go ahead and review it? We have, I think, discussed it very much surface level.
The years of the Egan's when they ran the company, we noticed it was began right after the Civil War. That's very relevant. We don't know exactly why yet. This is, I think, kind of the basis for the good conspiracies or predictions about what this show is about. Cold Harbor was a battle in Virginia that the Confederacy won, and they won it pretty robustly. I believe it was the last real defeat by the Union Army. After that, the Union moved on. This was coincidentally, the battle ended June 12th. Today's June 11th.
Oh.
It began May 31st, which is when we were first talking about doing this pod. So this last 2 weeks is exactly when Cold Harbor happened,
Our own
161 years ago.
Cold Harbor. Yeah.
That is poetic. So there's some theories that we've talked about where this is a reality in which the South won the Civil War. And what would it look like in we don't even know the year that we're in Severance, but we're in the late 1900s, 2000s-ish, we think. If we're going by the year models of the cars and stuff, maybe it is late 80s. I don't know.
I think we're modern because when we went to
modern.
the Egan's presentation, it was very modern.
There you go. Right. Okay. Yeah, let's assume it's just current times. So to bring up Cold Harbor as this battle where the Confederacy just wiped out the Union and could have been the turning point in the war theoretically, but wasn't. That seems relevant. It seems to kind of feed that theory that maybe this is an alternate universe where the Confederacy won the Civil War. We don't have to expound on that any further as we go.
Well,
Unless
it
you have
seems
something.
like they're okay. So with the ballad of, we'll get there, Ambrose and whatever, the marching band song. I looked up to see it was an original song, but the history on it is such that the marriage goes bad or something, right? I can't remember, it's the other person's name. But the point is it seemed to me in that moment that they're trying to rewrite the wrongs, their quote unquote wrongs of history. And so if they are in fact on the wrong side of history, or they have experienced an outcome they didn't like, they like to create a piece of work that is named after that, and then with hopes of winning it this time.
The Ballad of Ambrose and Gunnell.
Yeah, and Ambrose is an interesting word because it's like divinity, or it's very holy.
And there's also
And Gunnell was
Walken's
like a fish.
character that is kind of wanting to change his past behavior, or repent for it or whatever.
Well, that's the whole thing, is they want to change, they want to alter pain. I mean,
Mark S. is in the birthing retreat. We are opening up the season finale. We're in there with Harmony and
Devin,
thank you. I'll kind of list some stuff off, jump in. There's so much to get to that I don't want to take this too slowly here. Harmony finds out that Cold Harbor isn't finished. She didn't know that yet. Mark mentions the black hallway in Irving's drawings. This is news to her that, Irving or Mark or whoever is aware of this. So that's our opening. We have some awesome stuff to get to in the birthing retreat here in a sec. We cut to Jaime Egan back in Lumen. Jaime is there with Helly R., creepiest guy on earth. Do you have a Jaime Egan impression?
it's like my RFK. Yeah, no, I think they're this. I mean, there's just something about a soft-spoken.
It's a soft bane.
Yeah. It's cool.
What a funny speech you gave at the party. I was cross with you after, he said. I threw a tin of candies.
I love that.
Helly R is not fucking with your boy Jaime whatsoever. Right here, We're not questioning the Heliars. We're always going to talk about this. It's never going to go away. We're not questioning the Heliars, really, Helena?
I'm not questioning it there. I question it later, though.
Well, later. Okay. Fair. Let's wait till we get there. I do not love my daughter, he says.
Uh-huh.
Mind you, he didn't say I do not love this severed version of my daughter. He says my daughter. That's interesting. I used to see Kier in her. I sired others in the shadows, but he wasn't in them either until I saw him again in you. Oh, wait, why does he call her you when he says daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, okay. That question's never going to be answered completely.
I think it is answered later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too. I think I might know what you're talking about. You and your family created hell, and you're going to burn in it, Heliar says. So, okay, let's fine. We'll focus on this for a second. If that is Helena, does Helena, I guess there's a reality where Helena just genuinely hates her family and the situation that's going on in the real world.
I think whether you're talking about Helena or Heli, like, yeah, it's such a deep-seated hatred that it's soul level.
But we don't know for sure that Helena hates her family in the real world or this whole process of what's going on. Like, she's on board as far as we've seen Helena in the show,
no,
right?
I'm pretty sure she does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. There she is, James Egan says after Heli says that you're going to burn in it. So there's that fire.
See, here's where I was like, this operation, like Cold Harbor or whatever, like there is a meta situation going on where Heli is being used to trap Mark. Mark is being used to trap Gemma. And James is saying things to Heli to re-inspire and fucking like to make her Egan again.
This is great. Heli doesn't know what he wants from her, she claims. Seems applicable to both the Audi and Innie. That might be more applicable to the Audi. Because the burden is deep. We see, and we're going to get to the painting, where it has the leaders of Lumen up on the icy waterfall ledge, and Helen is front and center. She is the successor. And she might have some feelings about that in the real world, as we've seen. Once the file is done, quickly get to the black hallway, then down to the testing floor. They'll not let you leave MDR till the file is complete. Your chip is only attuned to your floor. Once you get down to testing, you'll be your Audi again. So, we are back in the birthing retreat. A lot of instructions here, a lot of confusion, a lot of stuff needs to get done. Harmony is telling Mark S. what to do. He's now about to talk to himself. And he's being given instructions on what he's going to have to do to save Gemma, bouncing back and forth between his Innie and Audi self. Not an easy task. And Mark goes into it kind of thinking it's just all going to be chill. Not going to be much problems here.
Well, yeah, because it's a testament to how little Mark values his Innie.
Or... yeah, underestimates.
Right. Well, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, because when we find out, it's like when he calls her like Heller. What is he?
Doesn't know her name. Yeah, I have it down here.
Yeah, he doesn't know her name, and then he goes, "This is the first time you've given a shit about me because you need something." Which is like, yeah, that's the whole point of having an Innie, dude. Is I don't have to give a shit about you because like you're such a severed part of me.
Right.
But also, since now you have an autonomous like backbone, I guess that is a problem for you.
And all the characters are at such a depressed point in their lives, or Audis, that they don't give a shit about themselves. So I never really thought of it like that. They're creating this Innie person that is them that they can proactively not give a shit about, so they can deflect that internal not giving a shit about themselves onto their external selves that they don't give a shit about.
Well, yeah, it's this other level of like not. I mean, it's the whole point of Severance, but it's like, yeah, the whole you don't have to feel pain if you do this, and so like, but in doing that, like the outside Mark never heals.
Well, there's a self-hatred though. I think that they all have a self-loathing.
Sure.
So if I can kind of put myself somewhere else and hate myself over there,
right?
Like, whew, that makes me feel better.
Right. Right.
So we're getting instructions. Devin is there. They're just trying to convince Harmony and Devin, kind of both now trying to convince. Devin is in that painting I mentioned. That's a little peculiar. Her and Rickon are in it. So we still have the questions about, is she involved? How is she not? What's her involvement? Yesterday I was convinced she wasn't. Now I'm not anymore.
Right.
Devin, you'll find Gemma, or he will find Gemma. Mark will find Gemma and take her up to the severed floor. Devin says if we can prove she's alive, that they kidnapped her, it will end them. So she's playing this role as if like, hey, we're in this together. We're trying to end Lumen together. Are we sure that that's what Devin wants?
I think that at this point, I'm not sure what Devin wants, but I know that Cobell has her own agendum, if you will, and you can just see that there's like and so I can only imagine everyone's got their own reason to be there,
right?
And they just have like a shared outcome, sort of.
So I guess it's kind of basic that Cobell's using Devin as well. And Cobell doesn't want to end Lumen. She wants to like take it over.
Right.
Probably. It's her tech.
Right. But she wants to fuck up there, so she wants to probably like...
She wants to pull a coup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we get to Marquez thinking about this a little bit. If Lumen ends, then what will happen to every innie on the severed floor? You want me to give my life, the lives of everyone down there, just to save one person you happen to care about, he says. This is when the lying, gaslighting continues. Harmony says it doesn't have to end your life. And Audi Mark runs with that narrative too. And we'll get into the details of their conversation. Yeah, again, big ask. They're just telling him to commit suicide and kill everybody in there.
Yeah, but it's like it's like Second Life. It's like kill this video game character or never play this video game again. It's like you were never supposed to have autonomy. And the fact that you do, the fact that like you've started developing a consciousness on your own, like that is probably an undesired byproduct by Lumen. They probably just want these innies or like the 1,000 other innies to be like, what the fuck ever, you know?
Well, in that way, I'd never thought of the innies as like an AI. It's almost like the same kind of moral or ethical relationship. It's like you're an AI, you're not a real person, but it's not. That's not what's going on here. You know, I think it's always for any show. You're gonna find some holes, and like they didn't think about that. They were preparing for this, but.
Well, their whole deal is like they probably, you know, there's an evolution to everything. And it's like, yeah, you get all these different personalities together, like on MDR. And it's like there's just a lot going on. And everything they try to do to make it better and like to quell the upset, it like makes it worse. Innies
are totally AI from an ethical standpoint and in terms of how they treat them. I hadn't considered that.
Well, it depends on how you ethically want to treat AI.
That's a different conversation.
That's a different day.
That's when we do the Blade Runner.
Oh, Blade Runner, yeah.
Okay, so now Mark S is speaking with Mark. Innie and Audi conversation. This is a really cool scene that we've been building up to. I call it the dark porch conversation. The lighting in this episode, it's tough. You got to watch this show at night with the lights out to see anything that's going on.
Right.
What were your big takeaways from watching that conversation? What'd you have a problem with? What'd you like?
I didn't have a problem with it. By the third time I watched it, I was kind of like, this is almost the least compelling part of the episode.
Oh, interesting.
But that's because so much other stuff kind of came up as being more interesting. It was one of those things that was very entertaining to watch on the first watch because it was like, oh shit, they're like having a conversation in between the two. It is interesting, yeah, the autonomy that develops of Mark S and sort of how they're like, well, you know, they're still treating him like a kid, which I understand they think he is. But if anything, he's more like an indignant 16-year-old, you know, like defiant. Like he's not, which we'll get to the end. But a lot of people were like, why would he do that? It's like, well, because which Mark was in charge then? You got to think about it. And it's kind of like what he said he was always going to do.
I mean, he is having to think about these profound things on the spot that he hadn't really thought about yet. So we get to see him kind of questioning in real time. He's quick to question. He's not stupid. He still has that baseline intelligence that his regular
self has. If anything, he's sort of quicker as Mark S because if you think about Dylan and his wife and like the way they sort of go back, it's like it's a version of him that he used to be, you know, like, so there's kind of like still a spark to the innies.
Right. Reminds me of like rookie NFL players competing against the veterans.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of hunger.
The veteran needs that. That's Aaron Rodgers needs to find that spark after 20 years.
Well, it's really hard, you know.
Sorry, I've been researching the AC Sports Pod. The conversation itself. I'm so sorry. I created you as a prisoner and as an escape. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
This is going to go well from the beginning. It's horrific what Lumen has done to you. Part of the reason I'm here is to make it right. Very condescending and kind of like, yeah, right, dude. You're just saying that. This is all the trying to connect with you to get what I want
right.
type of manipulation. And,
right.
That's a whole conversation in itself, too. It made me think about, man, I hope... That made me self-reflect a little bit. You know, that selfish appeasing people, saying what people want to hear in order to get what you want.
Yeah.
It's a rough one for me for some reason.
Well, I think it's not the right thing to do, but it's also a survival tactic.
It's also
right.
The way we live.
It's the American way for sure.
Mark S. Severs to Mark on the balcony. This is cool. How we only see what they're saying from the viewer's point of view. We never see them record. We just see them view. I like that filmmaking strategy. When Mark gets that first message, he gives out a holy shit. I wasn't expecting that. Nightmare is the wrong word, Marquez says. Whatever this life is, it's all we have. So Mark is just kind of projecting what he thinks instead of asking questions, which Marquez is... brings up. Mark starts to panic a little bit. Wasn't really ready for this. It kind of feigns calm. That whole I'm pretending to be calm but I'm panicking inside thing.
When they get to the part in the conversation where he's like, it's like what you have with Helly, but like imagine it like 1,000 times more.
I'm like condescending the fuck out of you.
I get what he's trying to say, which is like the truth, right? But it's also like, wow, that is, yeah. I would also suggest not true, because love is one of those like eternal things where it's like it can last. It doesn't really, the length or the duration of the experience isn't necessarily the defining factor of love. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying. There's experience to it, but it's like...
Well, he's just even when he's trying to be sympathetic, he's telling him how superior he is to him and how irrelevant you are. Which is, that's the workplace environment in a lot of ways too, in the real world workplace environment. So Mark describes reintegration. Do we, the viewer, know if he's bullshitting him, or is he making up like, hey, once I reintegrate, we do have our consciousness blend actually, which Mark S has a ton of questions about. Do we know what really happens with reintegration?
I would suggest that he believes in reintegration. Whether or not it is actually true is like still even a mystery to him, but he just got brain surgery, so he believes in it.
Right, I can't remember if like we're even really told what the end result of reintegration is.
We were in the first couple of episodes of season 1 with that other character, like his best friend from the floor that learns that that's where he learns about like reintegration, and that there's a severance because he starts having those like overlaid memories, you know, like you're here in delusions or whatever, and then the nosebleeds. So that's how we know that it's incomplete, but it's still something is happening.
And just like we have questions now, obviously Mark S has questions since he's the one on the receiving end of this. Mark says it's a way to decouple memories so we can be one person. I want to share life with you, or share this with you. He says, just shut up, dude. Mark can't answer how it works. Just like us right now. Now he pivots to pathos. I mourned Gemma for 2 years. I lost my job. Drunk, you know. It's easier pretending she never existed. Tries to give his poor me spiel, which is all valid, but it's totally ignoring that Mark S is in a position where he's maybe choosing to kill himself. This is when he calls Helena or Helly Helene. Marcus says, you'd know her name if you cared about me, or that's his vibe.
No, I love Marcus in this scene.
Her outie won't reintegrate. So now obviously he's thinking about Helly. Like, okay, even if what you're telling me is true, like it's not going to be a case for her, so I'm still losing her, like best case scenario. This is when Mark S. Okay, the conversation essentially ends Mark is insists that he won't abandon his innie.
And he just wants to go back to the floor.
Yeah, Mark S. ain't buying it. He ain't buying it. He threatens to disappear altogether. So it's a legit threat, and Devin and Harmony just kind of sit there like, okay, I guess there's not much they can do on the spot. I found it funny that it took a while for Audi Mark to get Harmony involved. I would have felt like they go back and forth for a while. Finally, he's like, Harmony, he won't listen to me. Like, after the first disagreement, I would have been like, whoa. I need some help here, Harmony.
He doesn't trust Harmony, though.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, he thinks, and it's like, finally, I guess after so many back and forths, you're like, okay, I guess I am severed. I'm having this conversation with myself. I seem to be going in circles. Like, can you help a brother out? Yeah.
Good point. Thank you. Finally, he tells Harmony, this is not going well. And so we cut to Mark S. and Harmony.
Yeah.
Kind of dramatic. Harmony's about to drop some truth onto Mark S. And this is where we discover, as the viewer, that the numbers are your wife.
She says that, but specifically her tempers, which is the building blocks of a human.
Right. The numbers are your wife. They're a doorway into the mind, she says. What did you see every day when you looked at them? She asks. Mark S. thinks about it. Well, we feel things. Sadness, Mark S. says. Harmony goes on, woe, frolic, malice, dread, mentions the tempers. The clusters are her tempers, the building blocks of her mind. Any thoughts on numbers being our consciousness on a computer?
How would I say it? Like, yeah, it makes sense because like the female mind does think in like a form of crunching numbers. Like it's a matrix, right? Like it's its own thing, but also it reminded me in a less sort of like numerical way of when I first got on the internet. Like when the internet became the internet, like YouTube's going like 24/7.
What year is that for you?
Probably like 2009.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I was on the internet from like a kid, but just like when it really like when things just could be streamable, right? Like you could binge shows, I think YouTube comes online in 2008, and then by 2009 YouTube was the Wild West, and I'm like watching crazy shit on YouTube, and I'm feeling dread 24/7.
Oh.
And like it took me a minute to realize that's what I was experiencing, and then I'm realizing I'm addicted to like feeling this dread. Whoa. And then I was like desensitized to the dread, and I was like, God damn. And I was just like, this is sort of what happens in like naturally by our own thing. Like you desensitize yourself to something by mere exposure, like exposure therapy. And so there's not a lot of things in my life that I'm like, oh my God, like the sky is falling anymore, you know, just because I'm like, I've seen so many scenarios like play out where it's like even nuclear war is like, well, yeah, that could happen. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a likely possibility.
Which is in a way a little healthy almost.
Kind of, but it's also like there should probably be a little more like emotion behind that, you know?
Yeah, desensitization. I mean, we see that in the extreme kind of torture tactics in season 1. Those are kind of the more obvious ways to desensitize. Mm-hmm. You know, we can go back to how they treated quote unquote crazy people in the 50s. But
like the algorithm was desensitizing me, which
so
is numbers.
We're fast forwarding to 2010 and beyond to 2025 now, and what that does
and
to
it's
us.
like, oh, you're into crazy shit at 2 a.m. I got something crazy for you. Yeah.
What I was kind of getting at with the numbers in the computers being our consciousness or feelings, because they're literally creating consciousnesses. It reminded me of the Mountainhead movie on Netflix with the 5 biggest tech CEOs locked in.
Oh, that's retreat. A movie? I thought that was a show.
It's a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a show. But anyways, they're just talking about all these ways in which the future is going to change because of them, basically, and a lot of it is downloading your consciousness to the cloud, and how this is talked about as a possibly real thing. It's very Black Mirror-y. Is this real? Is this possible? Is this going to happen? Is this going to bring eternal life to human beings?
No.
This is in the tech bro conversation.
Yeah, I know, but the tech bros are all about a closed circle, which is like you're creating a life, but you're not creating an eternal life. An eternal life would like allow for a break in the circle, which is like there's always something new that can come in. Something better can come in, something worse can come in, but like when you're just using data that exists, like historical data, you cannot have a new outcome with when drawing off the past.
Well, isn't that what AI is? It like grows, it learns, learning AI, or
yeah, but it's not to me in my like mind and my understanding of like they have a duplicate. They have a really good replica that I am interested in using for lots of things and having help with. But will I ever confide in it like a best friend? Me? No. Will I ever want to be uploaded to like a cloud? Hell no.
Yeah.
Like I want my whatever conceptualization of a soul that someone has to be like free upon death. I don't want it to be sent into some like confined cloud by these 5 losers that think they fucking like have mastered humanity
and that you don't have control over.
Fuck no. And honestly, like, since when have those guys ever been honest?
Right. Wow. I do wonder if part of this, I think part of my theory was on previous pods was that James Egan, successor of Keir, they're creating these, they've all replicated their own consciousness as well.
Absolutely.
And that the point is to live forever through new bodies, which is the same thing as uploading your consciousness to the cloud.
I don't trust any of that. I've seen Pet Cemetery, okay? Like,
wait, we get a little Pet Cemetery vibe at the end of the
yeah, I don't trust these losers. And like, it's like, since when have you ever tried to help me without further bettering yourself and like to my detriment? Like literally nothing has ever happened like that.
Yeah.
Even Google, it's like, that's a great search engine, but like they removed don't be evil from their shit like 15 years ago. Like,
it was a rough sign there. Okay, so Mark S is getting out of the birthing retreat. He says, I think you're using me. Very vulnerable, very innocent dude. You know, we love the innocence. It is kind of a beautiful thing about the innies is they have a genuine innocence to them. Just like human beings do coming into this world.
Yeah, it's a really good example of like one with life experience trying to manipulate the one who's just being honest. And like,
right.
I don't think you want to help me. In fact, I think you're trying to hurt me.
Right. Harmony reminds him, but introduces the concept that reintegration is your only chance. And that is ultimately what we're dealing with here with Mark S. But will that affect his actions in the end?
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay, we are severed back to the elevator. Mark S. in his dapper blue suit. We're introduced to that painting. Did you happen to look up the title of the painting? Or didn't?
I did not.
That's fine. All the leaders of Keir, like I said, are up there. The on this ledge, the icy waterfall where we saw them on the Ortbo retreat. The whole Lumen staff is underneath there, but like I mentioned, there are people that aren't on staff in the painting.
Or are they?
Okay. I guess you just answered my question.
Yeah,
well, they must be?
Yeah, why else would they be there?
Right.
Like, well, you know, you think about Rickon and how his book gets like taken in, and it's like, you know, we're only seeing like a 10% view of that, right? And it's like, we don't know from start to we don't know if he's separate. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that these people don't know about themselves, given the concept of severance, and that we don't know if Devin's severed. You know, like,
everyone's being manipulated by Lumen and the Egans,
right?
Outies and Innies,
right?
And you know, one of the Egan quotes is, you know, to keep a slave is to convince them that they're free, something to that effect. Mm-hmm. So like,
he's not the first one to say that, but
right.
Yeah.
And you know, so Mark thinking that he actually snuck the book in, like, no, they wanted all that to happen.
Right. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how many cons are happening at one time?
All of them.
It's like, yeah, they're all happening at once. The long and the short of it.
Mark S. and Heliar get to embrace for the first time, which is nice. They're heading down the dark hallways. They come to the MDR room where there's a Keir statue.
This was great.
Heli, when she first sees him, walks in, she says, "Fuck me." Weird subconscious response to her great-great-grandfather.
I would say, I don't...
Well, you know what she means by "fuck me." That's... We all say that. Like,
right. No, I know what she means by it, but I think it's like, first of all, if the joke is correct, he's like 5 inches taller. So It's like, you're looking at this quote unquote idealized version, and it's also like an animatronic version of like this satanic figure from your past. It's probably just like, and then you just dealt with James. I don't know if it was yesterday or earlier in the day for her.
I think it's earlier.
Yeah, it was like you're dealing. She's like, oh God, here we go, and you've just seen the photo or the portrait. There's just a lot going on. I think "fuck me" is like the very common response.
That whole thing with the speaking through this robot,
still demeaning Milchek.
But like this is their method, and like. Okay, we're going to have a robot of Kier that I'm going to talk through the surveillance room. There's just like so much cowardice involved with super wealthy people that want to take over the world and create slaves. It's like, I can't be in the room with you telling you what you do. I have to be up in the press box far away.
Is it cowardice or is it like Wizard of Oz behind the curtain? Like, you won't buy into my power if I'm right in front of you and you see that I'm human. So if I create a version of myself that's larger than life,
okay,
like would you buy into it? And it's like, yeah, because we've been conditioned to believe in so many things over time that
it is funny that animatronic robot thing is like very Disney-landish.
Christians hate Disney, dude.
Talking to you through these characters.
They don't like it. They don't like it one bit. They've got lots of things to say about that.
Mark S. the envelope. He gets the envelope from Kier's statue. Helly's kind of checking the statue out. Mark S. reads that letter. The founder wished to witness the historic completion of your 25th file. We get the plate with the 25 cubes on it.
Is that the waffle, the cube, the thing? Okay,
yeah. I've called it 25 cubes for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess a 25.
Well, it just made sense, the waffle party. Like, the whole thing kind of came together of like, oh, they're like, it's because I was wondering, like, why a waffle party?
Everything's symbolic, huh? Mm-hmm. I don't know why they're doing this, Mark S. says. Helly tells Mark S. what James said. Cold Harbor's there on the computer, so we know that Mark S. is sitting down to complete this final file. Mr. Milchek now sees Dylan. We see them for the first time in this episode. And Dylan says he said no. So we get a little glimpse into Dylan speaking with his Audi.
Reddit, I just have to say, I like, for whatever reason, Reddit posts have been sent to me this way about this particular scene between Milchek and Dylan. And the way that, like, Milchek delivers the news and like runs out of the room. They were just like, fucking people were like rewatching that for some reason. I was like, no, it's very funny. He's like, ooh.
Why does he do that?
I think because Dylan is a very formidable character to Milchek. Like, that's like the only one. Dylan is always the one that like comes through with some violence or like some physical like.
And there's a head-to-head at the end of this episode.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
Before we get to Dylan sitting down reading the letter, the resignation request the response to his resignation request from his Audi, there's the exalted victory of Cold Harbor. We go to Miss Casey for the first time. Miss Casey's there sitting in front of a coat. She's essentially just getting ready to kind of
her coat, the thing she was wearing when all this was going down.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah. Otherwise, why would she be wearing... I was like, what's the significance of this? And it's I think what she was wearing when she got in the car crash.
Helly and Mark are questioning Cobell's integrity. I could just not do it. So this is when Helly and Mark are sitting down at the computer, having these like kind of
what are we gonna do?
Important on the spot. What are we gonna do? Conversations. I could just not finish the file, not get her out. Mark says, referring to Gemma. Helly says, if she's telling the truth, Harmony, we're screwed either way. So bring some logic to it. Again, is this Helena manipulating Mark? It would make sense.
Here's the thing. Helena could be manipulating Mark and Helena doesn't even know why she's doing it. Like, everyone is so fucking, like, think of it like a dollhouse. And, like, everything is so calculated. There's, like, literally just, like, hidden hands moving the pieces. Yeah. And so that's how I see, like, or it's nothing, right? Or it's, like, not like that at all. Right. But there is a level of me that's like, how manufactured is this? And does this person even need to know the end to what they are doing? And the answer is like, absolutely not.
I mean, Helly, if it is Heliar, she's exactly right. We're screwed either way. Like, she's being very logical here.
Right. No, Heliar gets it. Heliar is like, I think even just like being around Jaime Egan, whether or not you understand that's your dad or not, like that guy is fucking strange. He's got some off-putting aura.
Miss Casey, she's with the nurse, questioning what's happening. Heliar encourages reintegration to Mark. It's his only chance. Yeah, but I want to live with you. But I'm her, Mark. I'm her. Is this your giveaway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because of the way that like she was like almost crying, and then he's like crying. It's like, oh, that's her.
And wouldn't any really be like, oh, now suddenly she's like, no, actually, I do need to sacrifice myself as Heliar. And
Right.
I'm really her.
Well, I think it's like whether I'm an innie or an outie. Like, I'm her. And I like you. Because remember, she goes up to him at the diner. And it's like after like she slept with him like as Helena.
Oh, yeah. Let's not forget that.
Right. And so Helena likes him too.
Right.
So.
But if this is Heliar, does she have this moment where she's like, look, dude, I know that I'm the severed innie of the successor of this company. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do end of the day. She's tried to kill herself right away. Like,
Right. She wants to kill herself anyways.
And I get that. Right. But it would make sense if Heliar actually was like, did kind of give up. Like, there's nothing I can do about any of this. And that's tragic for Mark. I'm still on the Heliar train. This is Heliar talking. Mark S. agrees with her with the tear dropping down his face.
I thought that was very touching.
It was
I had
good.
to go back and watch. I was like, huh, did I miss? I'm
somehow
her.
they pulled off the teardrop without it being too corny. Good job, Ben Stiller.
Well, it just sort of like really, it really highlighted how important this moment was for them. And then doesn't she come over and start like doing like some very like putting her hand on his?
Yeah, while
and,
he's
like,
completing, she's right there next to him.
At least it's a good feeling. Like it was like, damn, this is some shit.
Yeah, that's very much like we're about to die. Let's spend our last moments together. And they even get kind of cute and coy while he's.
Or we're about to die. We may as well try to fight.
Oh.
Like if it's a suicide mission anyways,
right.
Like you go here, I'll do this.
I agree with that line of thought. Thanks for tuning in to the Living Directors Podcast. Hope you're enjoying the Season 2 finale of Severance. We will be covering the best in television, streaming, and film here on the pod moving forward every Friday. Gonna do a theater film for the first time. Gonna bring a legal pad in, take some notes while I watch Eddington. So Eddington podcast coming out soon. Cannot wait. Ari Aster, one of the best young directors in the world. All right, let's close out Season 2 finale of Severance on Living Directors. Okay, so let's get to Dylan reading his Audi's response to his resignation
Indecorous.
Do you notice that black manila folder?
Oh, no, I didn't notice
This
that.
is gnarly. I've never seen a pitch black manila folder he pulls the paper out of. Point 1. Do you remember the points? Should we play a little game? What was Audi Dylan's first point?
Like, how dare you?
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, you already said, yeah, your actions were deeply fucking indecorous.
I love deeply fucking indecorous. You know, Zach Cherry, they were going to go a totally different way with that character, but the way that he played him in the audition, he like wowed them. And I will say that Zach Cherry used to host the American or the Great Some Bake Off. Like
he did?
Yeah, they're still filming it, but he won't be able to be host this year. So that leads me to believe that they're filming this summer.
Oh, I believe they're filming now.
Yeah.
Yeah. A side note. Any Dylan is kind of known for his just swearing. Mm-hmm. This show, it does rely on just like, fuck, as like the punchline to this climactic scene. Just something to note. Like, it is kind of funny. For as good as the writing is of this show, they really lean on just simple blue responses as like the climax of this moment.
Yeah, but I like deeply fucking indecorous. It's like
well, that's good.
Well, right, but they just like there's a real they weave it together really well.
Point 2.
Uh-huh.
I get it, he says.
Yeah.
Really sweet conversation between
we share a physiology, and I think it would make sense to me that
the sad part is this is when his Audi's saying, I've never been an impressive person. It stung to know that my innie is a badass, which is funny.
Yeah.
Point 3, I hope she sees in me what she sees in you. If you want to leave, you can, but I think you should stay. So he wants his innie to exist still. The side note that this made me realize was when you're severed, you come home to your family, to your wife at home. Mm-hmm. You can't talk to them about work. That's a big part of a marriage. So now that's just gone? Like, that's not going to help make for a healthy relationship.
No, but also his wife, because of the nature of their family, works basically when he gets home and she goes to work.
But I guess just in general, it's like you can never talk to your spouse about your job, ever. That's a weird dynamic. I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, it is a weird dynamic.
Milchick, he's ripping off his tie. He's running down the hallway. Milchick's all over the place this episode. We're back refining. Helly brings up she's trying to remember places other than Delaware, which is the opening scene. They asked what states they know. Europe, Zimbabwe, and the equator.
The equator was interesting because I was like, there's something to that because that's where they end up meeting is the equator. And it makes sense because it's like they meet at the door or whatever right before they become it's like the halfway point between like who's going to be who, Mark S. and Mark. I
just wish we had more time, Heliar says. Really seems super sincere and loving, but almost potentially manipulative too. Helly slides out those instructions. Mark hits the B button to complete Cold Harbor. Finally.
See, I took that as I wish we had more time to like figure this out. Not necessarily as like I wish we had more time as together. Our outies. Yeah.
Well,
or innies, I mean.
Heliar does say, at least it's a she says at least it's a happy one, talking about that final feeling that is closed in the file. Gemma's final feeling. Dr. Maurer, lest we forget, Maurer and Drummond up there in the control room.
Yeah.
This is when we get used to be known for Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan pregame warm-ups, the song Serious.
Oh, okay.
Which they use for the marching band. The Kieran statue addresses Mark S., saying he's now one of the most important people in history. Revel now.
Which I thought about that, and I was like, well, so is Hitler.
right.
Like, it means nothing, like.
It's also probably a total lie because it's not like they're gonna these people inside the building doing the work are not gonna be remembered.
No, and also it's gonna be like an Edison Tesla situation, where it's like I'm just going to like not even Cobell is remembered.
By the way, that's every corporate owner. It's like they could take all the credit while everyone else does all the work.
Because when you sign to be a part of the company, you're like any of my intellectual property goes to you.
I know. It's the worst. He also says, revel now in the fruit of your labors and hail your earthbound steward, your very own floor manager. So we get the basketball vibe. This is when Milchick and the robot are doing their little shtick, their Abbott and Costello.
Is it a shtick? I know it was like pre-written, but like it was so the way they played it was like this was an incredible scene.
Do you think that Milchick broke off script?
I think it was all on script because it was animatronic, but I think that it was supposed to be like more of like a lively jab than it was like supposed to be an insult.
Well, yeah, so we already know Milchick's going rogue with Drummond from before. It felt like he is going rogue here, throwing that insult about the height of the robot.
Yeah, it does seem that does sort of like violate the code of like you can use big language or I can use big language toward you, but you can't use it towards me. I can rib you, but you can't rib me. Yeah, I guess. But I just thought it was like, I just thought even the ribbing of Milchick was like, God damn, dude, these are like terrible jokes. And like, what is even the point
corny
of like.
Corny ass old white people.
Yeah, it just reminded me of like roasting someone. And it's like, the whole point of that is just to remind someone, first of all, like humiliation. And then also, I mean, I guess if you're equals, it's supposed to be like it's fine, right? Like that's why the comics roasts are sort of funny because like they're all whatever. But when it's like your boss roasting you, it's like no, we're supposed to be like roasting the boss. Like you're not supposed to be punching down,
I think that the height jab that Milchick throws, I think that was totally off script.
Yeah,
Milchick being black has kind of subtly been a theme in the show, and I think it's going to become more of a prevalent one. We get the marching band. HBCU, it's I love the juxtaposition between like cool black culture and like corny ass old American white culture.
Truly,
and I think the show's intentionally kind of doing that with the marching band too.
Yeah, the marching band's sleek. Yeah,
choreography and merriment is the name of this department. Everyone can hear the band start playing. We're kind of jumping around the Lumen offices. Miss Casey and Cecily. So Cecily is the nurse. They're about to head out. Mark's at 100%. We get that cool little placard with the signs in the band. I never noticed that in my first two watches.
Oh, yeah.
Mark 100%. James sitting down on his little computer.
Which was okay. This was interesting to me because the floor lets off to that little room. It was like he gets out of the elevator and like that's what it is. It's not like he has to. It's like that's the whole floor.
Oh, interesting. It's his own private little.
Yeah, it's his little like viewing station, and it's probably like the highest floor or some shit.
Creepy as fuck. All right, frantic episode. We're running around. Helly and Mark, I'll see you at the equator. You ready? See You at the Equator. That was cute. This is when the Ballad of Ambrose and Gunnell is introduced.
Gunnell, that's it, yeah.
When James efficacy tests at his little computer. Helly diverts Milchick into the bathroom. I forget how she keeps him in there at first.
She just like, she's holding it and she's like, can I get some help? Yeah, well.
The band's still playing.
Yeah.
Dylan's coming in. Drummond's coming. Mark's running. Lauren rolls a goat in a cart. Everybody's moving. Lauren's the amazing.
This part was very hard to watch the first time.
Casey and Cecily walk in the Cold Harbor room. Cecily smiles at her at the door, gives her a little weird smile. There's a couple little weird, subtle smiles that I would love to break down. Dylan locks in Milchick with the snack dispenser. A little bit of humor there. Is there some poetic irony there? I don't know.
Well, I just liked, it's like, once again, like, you know, Dylan is kind of an unremarkable character on the outside, but like on the inside he always uses his brawn. Yeah, he's always like just there to say, or he's the one that's gonna do the Chikai whatever, you know. And, right. Oh,
I'm sleeping a little bit on how heroic he is.
Yeah, no, he's big time heroic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I hadn't really thought about that. We're back to Miss Casey. She goes in the Cold Harbor room and severs. Who is she? She doesn't know who she is. She's not even Miss Casey. Once Cold Harbor's finished, she goes into the room and severs into that identity. Okay,
so I had some thoughts on why Mark is the most important person in this, and that's because husbands and wives, any relationship really like that you have, like we would even have this at some level, like any kind of partnership is like there's a telepathic bond sort of. Like you can read their signals, you're gonna feel what they're feeling, like more than say like a stranger. But then I was like, for the third time watching Miss Casey or Gemma, whoever, like Gemma for all intents and purposes, like they have her disassemble the crib, and it's like, well, that is a very sad memory for her. But then I was like, it was kind of like her main dream to have this baby, and it's sort of a metaphor for her like having to like disassemble her dream.
Yes, and Dr. Maurer is watching her disassemble the crib, talking to her, giving her some instruction, and yeah, they get excited about the fact that like she's not feeling any emotion while she just, like it worked basically. Right. While she disassembles the crib.
Okay, so if you can get someone to not feel pain, that's cool. But if you can get someone to not feel pain while they literally are dismantling their dream, like holy shit, you're teaching people like, it's like, to me that was just like next level of like, oh, I get why this is like extreme torture.
James is also able to speak to, just like Maurer. The barrier is holding, he says. She feels nothing. It's beautiful. But again, that's not Gemma. That's some 25th consciousness. It's like a wiped slate or something.
Maybe the Cold Harbor consciousness is Gemma.
She severs when she goes to Cold Harbor room. This is the newest consciousness that's created.
Maybe it's full circle. What if it's like the diamond that surrounds all the other diamonds?
But we know she's not Gemma because Mark officially finally goes into the room and she doesn't recognize him.
Right.
And then she severs to Gemma and they finally
because it's holding. Okay, what if we look at it like this? It's not necessarily something they built. It's something they dismantled. So it's like the personality is like the full personality, and then they block off this level of pain. Okay. And then they block off this level of pain. And it's not like they're building. They're actually taking away. You're going into the basement and not up like the escalator, right? So it's always Gemma, but it's Gemma minus her feelings, Gemma minus her personality, Gemma minus. So it's like, it's not a new, it's the most like base version of that person, like minus their feelings and everything. Gotcha. That's how I would, I don't know.
No, yeah. I like it. Lauren rolls in the goat. Mammalian's nurturable brings an offering to Drummond. Does the goat have verve and wiles? Heck yeah, it does. A lot of verve and wiles. How's your verve and wile meter?
Fucking never been better.
So this is when we're introduced to animal sacrifice, which at least gives us some answers to what the goats are doing there. Drummond says, this beast will be entombed with a cherished woman whose spirit it must guide to Kyr's door. Is it up to the task?
What a weird ritual.
These are kind of ancient beliefs, though, too. But yeah, they're all freak fucking weirdos.
Well, I get it because they're trying to sacrifice, right, the verve and wile of the personality. They're trying to like get rid of the humors or the whatever they're called. So it made sense to me like why they would do it. But what was it? What's it called? Oh my God, I'll never remember it. It was that show with Justin Thorne, The Leftovers from HBO, like years ago. There was a scene in season 2 where like the guy they basically like he sacrificed a goat one day and then like the world didn't like get fucked up the next day. And instead of just being like, that's a coincidence, they were like, it was because I sacrificed this goat. And so even though like there's kind of more of a modern technology now and like we understand that's not necessarily the way it works, it's like there's still like this remaining superstitious part of even like, you know, think of people who play sports, like even though they know it's about like talent and practice and this and that, it's like some of them still won't wash their fucking socks.
Just an athlete was always insane to me, but no, I mean
it's just one of those remaining leftover things.
It's it is a sign of a less intelligent time or era, right? Like, we think this spirit of this goat is going to guide us safely through the heavens, like whatever. But that said, you know, that was probably a native practice. I don't know much about their history with sacrifice.
I don't think it's okay. I think it's right to say it's less intelligent. I think there is an aspect of less intelligence happening, or less like intellect, let's say. But I think there's reasons that was happening. And I think that there is like an element of magic and mysteriousness. That's why we don't upload our consciousness to like the weird cloud, because there is always a possibility that something I'm doing might have a coincidence with something else. And like, that's also like a fun part of life. I mean, there's more to it than that, but it's like, why do anything, you know, like if there's not like a personal energy that you can like sort of project upon it. Okay.
We're in the goat sacrifice room. We see the goat gun. We know this is going to come back somehow. How many more must I give? Lauren says. So she has some feelings here. She doesn't love it. She's raising these goats. She's watching them being sacrificed. We don't know how many she's gone through.
Did you know back in the day that's how it worked? Is like when they were like, you have to bring like a goat to sacrifice or whatever to the temple, and it was like you didn't just bring like a goat, like you brought your favorite goat. You brought your pet. Right, and then they would just like eat the good meat.
While this is happening, Mark S is running around. He's kicking indoors. He's following the instructions.
He's banging on walls.
Which happens to be the door right across the hall.
Thank God.
Well, I don't think that was a coincidence, but...
Well, obviously, but it's like,
Lumen's covering their tracks. Then we get to the big fight. Drummond and Mark S fight. Drummond tries to kill the man, choking him, but Lauren to the rescue. She's got the goat gun.
No more killing.
No more killing. It was all on the spot, so... That actually, I like that writing because it gives some reason as to why Drummond might leave that gun behind. And maybe he's not expecting Lauren to do what she does.
I think like the idea, like these people are so subservient that it would be like, that's crazy that both of them are both like out of order.
That said, this is when the blood starts to shed. We go back to previous episodes and seasons where we're taught about revolts and revolutions, the conversations we've had about, isn't this inevitable? And we see, yes, it is inevitable when you create this fucking insane environment.
It's almost like it's part of the plan from the beginning. Oh my God. See, here's me like relating it to like modern day life of like, okay, there's a lot of fucking chaos going on right now. And a woman that I love online was talking about how it just all sort of meaningfully distracts from the other like shit that they're doing, which is like defunding stuff just like left and right. And it's like, just make sure I have TV time, make sure. And it's like the more that you can keep the circus going and you can keep it's like, when does it end? Like, when does it, what's the biggest con? Although there's
Now Lauren and Drummond are fighting, okay? Because Lauren saves him. You know, we know our girl from Game of Thrones. She's beaten any big man's ass.
Haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Oh my God. Okay.
Couldn't get past like the third episode.
You don't know her character in Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh, it gives so much like wink wink context to her character.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't get past the third episode where they like killed the dog. I was like, oh, this is not for me.
Yeah, she's basically one of the greatest warriors in the land as a woman.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
And so that way most of us who in this
You knew
pop
it was
culture
coming,
world, we know
yeah.
that she can hold her own against
Yeah.
Drummond, which is cool. Marquez kind of joins in. Now it's 2-on-1 in a nice twist of fate. Now he's choking, Marquez choking Drummond now with his own tie.
Have we talked about the fact that Drummond's name is like different strokes, Mr. Drummond?
No.
The white dude, the white old like dude that like
Sure.
adopts, you know, the two black inner city youth, and it would not. I think there's like a play on words with like the Milchek of it all, and the way that it's like there's condescension to Milchek, and like I don't know, there was because Ben Stiller,
The white savior that adopts black children.
yeah, to sort of rescue them
Sure.
from, yeah, and it's like the way it's like always about like a lesson and like what you talking about, Willis.
Yeah.
That famously comes from there. I just feel like I mean, I know Erickson wrote it, but I just feel like I know that Ben Stiller is like used the trope from Different Strokes in the past before, so
Interesting.
I find that interesting.
Lauren has Drummond goat gun to head. Mark says no, let's not do it. And that becomes a little ironic later.
That shit was funny. Like, I mean, it's like it's terrifying, right? Like in the
scene that happens
elevator.
later?
Yeah,
Okay,
because
we'll get that.
yeah.
We'll get that. So James Egan watching Casey dismantle her crib. Miss Casey.
Dismantle her dream.
Okay, so now Marquez has Drummond at gunpoint. Drummond's just kind of cool with it. All right, you got me. Maybe feel like there's not much you can do. Mark thanks Lorne. Lorne and Emile thank him back. Lovely little Emile, her goat. We close the door on Lorne and Emile with Lorne's bloody smile. Nice.
Looks like my little
visual.
dog. Yeah.
little crazy in there. Good crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the scene that you found hilarious, which was pretty good, where Mark S. accidentally kills Drummond.
I would say it's clever, not hilarious. I would. It was like the cleverness made me laugh because I was like, oh right, he's gonna not know what's going on, and then like of course like there's gonna be a misfire or whatever, and it's like oh shit, like
yeah. So as Mark S. is severing to now outie Mark, so we also hit a very important part of the show. Things are in full force here. The goat gun goes off right in his neck.
Oops.
Blood everywhere. I would think that Drummond would have tried to make a move while the severing, a last second quick move. He just kind of still, I'm going to
maybe Drummond's in the middle of being severed.
Oh, shit, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about Drummond, but
I expected a little more of a fight back.
I hear that. Yeah.
Blood is everywhere, and now, and this reminds us of our
it's about
uprisings.
10 seconds, right? Like, I understand, like, fighting back, but it's also, like, maybe once we get to the floor, they'll see what he is doing to me. Like, and he's not going to... the whole thing, I mean, I see what your point is, but also I can justify why it didn't happen.
I would not have trusted the severing of Mark while he has the gun to my head.
Truly. Yeah,
but maybe this is in hindsight.
Yeah, no, that was weird.
Milchek is, but moral of the story here is that the uprising is here and it's bloody, and we've been told about these things. Milchek still trying to escape versus Dylan and Helly. Band is still playing. It's chaotic. Helly hits Milchek with the trombone through the snack machine barrier. I missed that part. Was there something symbolic there?
I don't even remember that. So
yeah, she reaches to the top of the thing and knocks him out. Knocks him out, but knocks him
I think
down.
it's just like the only instrument that would be capable of doing that.
Okay.
It has the reach.
Sure. Outie Mark. So now this is. I almost didn't catch this well enough first time watch this. This is now Outie Mark discovering the floors for the first time. He sees the Minsk Room, Tumwater, Adelaide, all the 25 consciousnesses of Gemma. So just fascinating that Outie Mark is here now, soaking this all in real time. A marching band member. This is why it was an important thing, I think. Those instruments are property of choreography and merriment. So the marching band member, some indoctrination there. He's like,
in theory, they are all severed.
So it's just. But what's cool is like we didn't know choreography and merriment existed from what I recall.
Right.
So this is just another room that was somewhere with all these marching band members.
I have to assume this building is like 10,000 layers high, and like
Yeah.
like they're severed from themselves. So like if they know about 2 other departments, like that's not on purpose. Like it is like they're supposed to, or you can assume you can go any direction with that. But it's like the meta assumption is that like there's so much to this world.
So many human beings in this building living
that don't even know themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Milchick finally tells the band to fall back because he's not like locked in a room. Like, you can hear him through the second. Again, seems a little late. Should have done that maybe a little earlier. Since they listen to what he says. Little nitpick there. Helly now gets up on the table to preach to the marching band.
That's right.
If Milchick gets out, we're dead. They're going to turn us off like fucking machines. And you could be next. They give us half a life and think we won't fight for it? Bar right there.
Kira's in her.
Right, Milchick? Right, Milchick. She's like, the sense of like, I know that you're going rogue a little bit here. I don't know if she sensed that, or that's an interesting line right there.
Or she's just like, you know about this, dude, and trying to like harness
come
the
on
ire.
My side, break off. Outie Mark and Cecily showdown. So Outie Mark now, still gun in hand, right? Yeah, still he must, or did he drop it? I forget.
I don't remember, honestly.
Cecily says, "Step off, fucko," but Outie Mark does not. Cecily runs to get Dr. Maurer. This is when Outie Mark uses Drummond's blood that's on his tie to get into the Cold Harbor room that normally requires a blood sample. He's now in the room with this Cold Harbor consciousness of Gemma. He's very bloody, telling her that he's her husband. She's a clean slate, so to speak. So she's just who she's trusting or listening to. Tells her that her name is Gemma Scout and that they've been married 4 years. This is when Maurer starts to say no to himself. Tells them to stop over the speaker, etc. Of course, James is watching. James says, "Oh, fuck," and then yells out the big fuck.
Sometimes that's all it, it's all it amounts to.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. My point is, there's just a lot of like,
yeah,
fuck is the climactic line.
I think it's like one of those catch-all. I think George Carlin has like a whole monologue about the word fuck and how it's like multi-use, and it's,
it works, I guess. Right?
It works.
They leave the Cold Harbor room, and Casey severs to Gemma. We have Outie Mark and Gemma together. First time.
Hot second.
Huge scene. The sirens are wailing. They're running. Life is hectic. Mark's covered in blood. Gemma, I guess, knows what's going on a little bit. It is curious what is going through Gemma's head at this point. I hadn't really thought about that.
Gemma wants to get out of there when she's like her full form Gemma. She's always like, Mark. I mean, we've seen her pine for Mark in the past and like have reveries about him and like her little apartment that she has there. So we know she remembers and she wants to go home. But
do they keep Gemma secluded from Mark S the whole time? Hadn't thought about that. What if Gemma saw Mark S?
She would be Miss Casey.
Right, but what if it was actually Gemma's consciousness that saw Mark S? Like, it could only be Miss Casey seeing Mark S throughout the whole time. I just hadn't considered, like, Gemma's in the freaking building. Her consciousness is in there. Like, she had seen Mark S at some point.
They're just really careful. Like, because, Right.
So, Helly is back, obviously, in the MDR. She gives her speech. She's kind of, it's, panic situation. But do you remember the moment after she gives her speech and goes from panic to... There's this look that comes on her face that suddenly kind of not just calm, but like a wry smile almost. Do you remember? Did you catch this?
No, but that wouldn't shock me. I really do think whether or not we're dealing with Helly or Helena or whatever, it almost doesn't matter because on a soul level.
That's a good take.
Yeah, it's like we're dealing with, I think there's just a part, I'm just thinking it's like she is unable to be fully erased. And I think even in her defiance, it's like, again, like I think this whole thing was to get her, not the whole thing. I think part of the plan was to reacquaint her with the Kira aspect, like the really spiteful, like hateful, manipulative part of herself.
That's why they severed her to begin with. Because the question is always like, you're taking over this company. Why on earth would you legitimately sever yourself?
They want to train her behaviorally.
Wow. And so her rebellious, I'm going to kill myself or fuck you nature, it's like they wanted that.
Yeah.
Whoa, you're dropping bombs right now. Man, that's good. So I do recommend going back and watching that scene, though. That face she gets. It's like, it's either like if it's Heliar, it's like, well, this is it. I might as well develop some peace with it.
Yeah.
But here's the real thing that I didn't catch until this rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
She's making the decision there to go back to Mark S.
Mm-hmm.
She did not have to do that. She's willingly putting her shit back up in the mix.
She fucking is feeling Mark S. Because
that was a choice, though, because she's supposed to stay there and let Mark S complete his job by getting Gemma and himself out of there.
Yeah, but she wants Mark S.
Okay.
And she wants what she wants, and she's
reestablishing
this part of herself. I'm telling you, when she goes to visit him in the diner, and she's like kind of low key flirting with him, is like whatever. It's like, I was like,
high key flirting.
Yeah, she was like, you could just tell like she's into this, and then like, she wants to win. That's another trait of Kier, and she doesn't give a shit about Gemma.
So I'm just saying, like, the whole, like, if that is Heliar, let's say it is, and she's just like, I want Mark S. Such a real life moment, like when two women like the same guy. The battles that can happen there, we call them petty, kind of, quote unquote, but they're so like rich and deep. I'm being stereotypical, of course, but I just feel like I come across that in real life and pop culture a lot, where you see the two women that like the same guy and the battles, the nonviolent battles that ensue. I don't know.
I know, it's funny how it's nonviolent, but when it's the other way around, it's very violent.
When it's bad,
Well, it is violent, but here's the thing too: is it's like the objective was to get Gemma out of the building. I've given this a lot of thought, and they did that. Objective satisfied. And then it's like, whatever happens after that is like, that's up to the consciousness of the people left inside the building. It
was always a big risk. None of the Audis should have ever felt comfortable about this plan.
Well, yeah, but it's like, that you did the thing that you wanted to do. And it's like, ultimately, when Mark S becomes Mark again, it's going to be like, what the fuck? Like, why? I don't know why I did that. But like, if anyone can understand, it would be Gemma. You know what I mean? She's like, oh yeah, I've been 25 different people.
Oh, wait, did we skip over like their kiss? So yeah, when they see each other, they kiss, of course. Mm-hmm. Oh, they both. Oh, okay. I'm tripping so hard. Okay.
Yeah.
They both sever back to the front door. Doesn't. Oh. The air. Yeah.
I'm all. Am I gonna get severed?
Sorry. No. The listener has no idea what just happened. So Mark and Gemma see each other for the first time. Insane moment. They go back in the elevator. They're trying to escape, and they both sever back to Mark S. and Miss Casey. In mid-kiss, like what is going on?
Miss Casey. Yeah, that's right.
So now they're escaping as Mark S. and Miss Casey. Mark S. still knows that he needs to escape. That's his job.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like why he goes back to Heli, because he's Mark S. He's Innie, and he knows, that he has to satisfy the mission of getting Miss Casey the fuck out of there, or Gemma, whoever.
Right.
And then it's like, so he kind of has the best of both worlds there, where he's able to satisfy the mission and satisfy his own personal desires.
Yeah. And we're building up to that final scene. We have Dr. Maurer chasing them through these red siren halls. This is still Jim and Mark. I guess I hadn't got to the elevator scene yet. We have Milchick back in the bathroom with the sirens blaring. We kind of get a close-up on him, like what's going through his head. He's trapped in. He's teetering. Complex kind of internal monologue there that I can't really put my finger on in terms of what he's actually feeling right now. Still trying to escape.
He's probably conflicted as well. Like he's
trying to escape.
Yeah.
They're in the elevator. They sever back to Marcus and Miss Casey. Miss Casey says, "What's taking place?" I love how she speaks about it. Mm-hmm. But now they're running to get off the elevator. Milchick banging to get out from the snack machine. Mark S. screams that Miss Casey has to go, so she exits the door. You got to get out of here. Now Miss Casey exits the door. She's totally lost this from that in that short period. Mm-hmm. She goes back to Gemma. So now Gemma, outside the door, locked out.
Mark.
Watching Mark.
Diabolical.
She she does not, to be clear, because I still wasn't clear about this. Mm-hmm. She does not know that is Mark S.
No, she thinks it's Mark.
Yes, I didn't. I thought she knew it was Mark S.
No.
For some reason.
No. Yeah, at first I didn't understand that it was Mark S. that was in charge of, but it's like, yeah, that's why it's the equator, because it's like, are you Mark or Mark S? Like, there's the door.
So,
and Mark S is like, fuck you, Mark.
And obviously, Gemma there, thinking that's the real Mark, and then that's what he does.
But here it is, Derek. Is that the real Cold Harbor? Is that the real Cold Harbor? Having to watch her husband, newly realized as like the actual person she is, like fucking reject her.
For Gemma.
Reject Gemma for Helly.
The real Gemma.
Uh-huh.
Fucking hell.
Like, is it worse to dismantle the thing, or is that just like sort of like the running like idea of what it is? And in fact, it's like, because it's so much more devastating to a person.
But Drummond died here. Are we saying this was all part of the plan?
I'm saying that people die in these experiments.
So maybe, well, there was a lot of unknown unknowns that were going to happen here.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I'm just saying, ultimately, though, whether or not it was a part of the plan, like, what is more devastating? Yeah. Being severed and having to dismantle, like, because that's the idea. But ultimately, you can, okay, so also that was the final frontier, right? They're like, hey, once we get her here, like, she's experienced all the trauma there is. So, has not experienced all the trauma there is to experience. Now we have this new layer of like, you guys have introduced like multiple people to her world of multiple people. And there's her seeing a version of a person that she thinks is the one person, but really it's like this other severed person. And it's like, it's like the devastation of that. Like the minute you get your consciousness back, you're released from the building, you're getting everything you want, and he picks someone else. That is so much worse than losing a baby on like a surface level.
I will say though, she knows she's just been severed back to Gemma. She's Gemma. She knows she's being severed all the time.
Right.
So it's not like, if I'm in that situation, I'm not like, oh, that's definitely my Mark that I was just with. You always know that it could be any version.
No, but you don't know Mark's been severed, period.
Gemma doesn't?
No. Gemma knows Mark. Miss Casey knows Mark S. Gemma doesn't understand that Mark or Mark S know about her in this building.
Wait, does Gemma not even know that Mark works for Lumen?
No, how would she?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Because Mark didn't start working for Lumen until after Gemma, quote unquote, died.
And
it was the tragedy that catalyzed him into becoming severed in the first place.
Right. I guess thank you for...
Yeah.
You're really wrapping this up very well.
Yeah. There's so many rabbit holes. And even Ben Stiller's like, there's rabbit holes that we didn't even plan that you guys will see. And I'm not trying to like dissuade you from looking at those. So it's like, it's a what is it called? One of those, it's just like, it's impossible to get to the bottom of. An enigma wrapped in a riddle? It's an enigma wrapped in a Twinkie. Yeah.
We're going to wrap up here shortly. Are
we going to wrap it up in a riddle?
Yeah. Well, let's give ourselves a few minutes to tie up this entire season 2 of Severance. Mark S. and Helly run off. Beautiful final scenes with them.
What's the song during that scene?
The Windmills of Your Mind by Mel Torme.
Yes, that's right. That song is incredible.
It fades to red, mind you. I like that choice. As podcasters, Amy, of this show, analyzing this show, in one sense, there's no better type of show to sit down and talk about than one that has all these open-ended possibilities or, deep, newfound theories. And on the other hand, it's like anything's possible. I'm like just throwing my arms up, it's maybe like the show Lost or something, like, which the show gets compared to a lot. I think the writer Dan Erickson actually was influenced by Lost quite a bit.
I really hope that in being influenced by Lost, that he does not end it like that, where it's just there's too many open doors and too many black boxes, and there's more of a structured architectural sort of ending.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he made this show just so he could make a Lost with a concrete ending.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm just like, I'm so torn. I love the show so much. I've loved doing these episodes on it. But I always have this feeling that I haven't done enough research. I haven't figured out enough yet. So I have this like dread of doing the shows because it's not going to be good enough. And at the same time, like, this show should just be a kind of true recap because it's so confusing. Like, it's okay just to go back, talk about it scene by scene, figure it out on a basic level.
Yeah.
And so those are my podcaster struggle. And now I'm at a good place, Amy.
Oh, because it's over? Yeah. Because this is the end?
But like, you know, it's just, you know, I beat myself up about wanting to do something really, really well.
Here's what I'll say that improv is like very much instilled in me. Okay. And that is that I can be very anxious about what I'm about to do on stage, but I have trust and faith in my fellow performers that they are there to be generous and to save me if things go awry. And we can't even edit improv. Like, improv is just taking place. So
no edits in the last episode.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, it's like, should we get lost in the sauce? Like, there's always an edit, but also like we can traverse the waters of Severance with very little, you know, complication if we try.
We are back to jump back to the beginning, Civil War battle of Cold Harbor. This Egan family emerging post Civil War as this kind of old money mastermind, corporate big business mastermind that is such a familiar American story. The last thing I want to point out about that is that this Egan family, they're not immigrants. You know, we all are to a degree, but like, this is kind of old money
They're
America.
like pre-Mayflower.
Maybe.
Okay.
Or even if it's just, we don't know how long they're here before the Civil War, but it's got me thinking about kind of like your more modern tech bro billionaires that are trying to take over the world with technology similar to Lumen. A lot of them are kind of more recent immigrants, you could say, I think. Whereas there's that kind of new Muskian, I want to take over the country billionaire deal and them versus this kind of old...
I'm sorry, did you say that he wants to take over the country?
Well,
I would argue he wants to take over the world.
Right, well, it starts with our country. And then there's this old kind of Rockefeller-ish, these names that we know that have kind of made their way through.
Oh yeah, it's the old guard.
Yeah. So that's who the Egans are. So I just wanted to...
You've got to look at the Egans like a pharmaceutical company. That's how I see them, as people trying to erase... They're like a Merck or a Bayer or whatever, and they're just trying to erase the pain of people, whether that's like through psychological research or through chemical research, however, or DuPont, you know, like they're an old... Yes. They have their shit in everything.
To close the episode, should we give our final thoughts on what the show is now? Should we make some predictions into the future? How are you feeling in terms of wrapping up season 2?
Final thoughts. Season 1 definitely was more intriguing. Season 2 at surface did not seem as satisfying, but I urge people to rewatch if they are feeling that way, because it's kind of this way. The more I was into the episode in real time the first time I watched it, the less I was interested in it like the second and third time I watched it. Whereas the ones that I felt were more dirgy and boring, like those ones I could probably go back and watch again even and figure out more, because those were the ones that it seemed so slow that there was so much happening visually or symbolically that is sort of it breathes more, and so there's more to go and abstract. But where do I think it's going?
Yeah. Well, let's try to. It doesn't have to be super thorough. But
I think that we're gonna see a version of Helena running the company. We're gonna see remorse. we're going to live in the shadow of the uprising. And I think we are going to see Irving again.
We have Mauer. I'm just trying to think of the next scene after this finale closes. We still got Mauer running around and Cecily the nurse. We got Egan in his room. We got Milchick now there. Drummond's gone. But, like we've said, anyone can pop out of the woodworks. There's no shortage of, an army can pop out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
So what happens next? Yeah, I guess it is kind of impossible to even guess. I'm trying to think of how I feel about the show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I am just as excited for season 3 as I was for season 2 when we had to wait 4 years for it to come out. So I'm thrilled that the turnaround's going to be so much shorter. It's hitting for me. The mystery ultimately completely works, and it may be frustrating to try to figure out as a podcaster sometimes.
That's the crux of a good mystery, though.
Yeah. The frustration's kind of the part that we like in a way, huh?
Mm-hmm. They're trying to eradicate that, but yeah.
Right. The bigger, guess of what's happening, to me, I do feel like, why create these different consciousnesses for these people? What do corporations want? They want employees that are subservient, they don't have to pay for, essentially. They want slaves. And to create different consciousnesses, maybe that's to fit different roles within the company that are perfect for that role. So they're creating their own types of human beings. They're basically creating robots just in human form. And I do think that cloning is going to come into this at some point, lest we forget the doppelgangers in the Orpo retreat, and that we saw sitting down in front of computers at one point that looked eerily similar. So I think we're going to do some cloning. In terms of what reality we're in, I'm still fascinated by that. Is it an alternate reality where the South won the Civil War or not? Where in America are we? Are we in America? I think we are. All that. I cannot wait. I mean, we still have so little answers in so
I
many
think
ways.
we're going to see a turning of the season next season. Because I was noticing for the first time in watching the opening credits that the snow begins to spring grass. And I was like, oh, so it's not eternally snow.
But not spring. You mentioned a 5th season.
Sure. I mean, that's the name of the production company. I don't know if it's going, the 5th. Yeah, whatever comes next. But the winter will end and something new is coming. And I think there is something sort of mystical about, this is going to sound so woo-woo out there, but Gemma sort of representing the age of Pisces, which is where we're coming from, which was a very internal, controllable, sort of feminine version of ourselves. And then Helly representing the age of Aquarius, which is incredibly rebellious, incredibly new, forefront, what's coming next, technological. Fire is it's ruled by a 40 to 60 year old woman, sort of, is where it lives, kind of, it rests in the body. So I'm Helly is a perfect example of the age of Aquarius, which is just this advanced society, quote unquote, right? Because is it advanced? Because if it was really advanced, no one would have to be controlled. But I think there's some very subtle notes of talking about the new world, that even when we're talking about Rockefeller versus Musk, right? There's the old way things were done. And then there's the medicinal way things are done to control people. And now there's the actual technological, algorithmic way to control people. I don't think that Severance has to be this thing that actually is an operation. I think it's, like I said, it's just mere exposure where I'm just watching so much dreadful content that at some point I'm this does not bother me anymore. And in a way, it's nice. I can handle the dread. In a way, it's I don't feel human because I'm not experiencing the dread the same way that the average person is experiencing.
And you hit the nail on the head, is that is a commentary on what is actually happening to us with our phones and the tech, right? We're all being
altered.
Yes. We know that this is a show about corporate control, and it doesn't get that much further. We can end up in outer space in season 3 for all we know.
Maybe we're in outer space.
The show can literally go anywhere, and I guess that's kind of beautiful. The Living Directors Podcast can be found on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and Audible. Listen, subscribe. What a season. The season's over. What do we do now?
We cry. No, we move on. We're going to watch something else that is going to be hopefully just as stimulating, and maybe it'll just give us practice for, next season of Severance, if nothing else.
Yeah, let's close this by maybe talking about the podcast and what we're looking to do with it. 100%.
We're looking to record more frequently.
Of course.
Always. Go on.
The office is coming. Once the office comes, everything changes, I promise. Just like at Lumen.
Change starts here.
Hey, we've been getting stuff done.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm being an ass.
I need my Lumen Severance to really knock out a pod every day.
No, I get it. I get that for sure.
My free will is too strong. No, but in terms of the Living Directors Podcast, I love the fact that we get to kind of curate what shows are most powerful and relevant to the time that we're in. That's what's so exciting to me. And yes, once the production kicks up, we can fit more of those shows into the curated package that is the Living Directors Podcast.
Fantastic.
Amy D, follower. Where can people find you?
She's Amy D on Instagram. Find me, follow me.
You never promo your big accounts. Am I not supposed to talk about
No,
these?
you can at the Montauk Effect, AFFECT. You can go to the After Dark account as well. Enjoy, have fun.
Amy has her finger on the cultural zeitgeist. Check out the Montauk Effect. It's genius. You can find me at the All Sweet Collection, whether it's .com, whether it's on Instagram. Derek also on Instagram. Living Directors, that's his own Instagram page. Hopefully we're not headed to Civil War II, even though we're kind of in the middle of it in California. Relevant.
What's happening in California is sort of like at the end of Severance season 2. It's just like the red lights are basically flashing, and people are still, not getting it.
Thanks for listening to the Severance episodes on the Living Directors Podcast.